As I prepared this mini documentary, it became evident to me that this was not simply about cutting my hair. It was about reflecting on the 11 years of life I lived while growing it. My locks and I grew together, and the amount of work, shadow work, I put into the past 11 years needed to be shared in some detail. It is not about a style update. It's about a journey, about growing, flowing, knowing who I am. It's about allowing and co-creating what's next. Some things can't and shouldn't be rushed. I had to sit with this a bit. It's that important to me. It's not just hair. It's a story. A whole story. A journey was growing from my scalp, and I was directed to share it thoughtfully. Enjoy. Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Every great journey has its start.
That's right.
Number 1, endings are new beginnings, and so if that's true, why is it so hard for us to allow things to end and begin anew? One of the reasons it was hard for me to end this lock journey was because my locks and my spiritual reawakening began simultaneously 11 years ago. There were so many new understandings coming forth as these locks were growing, so they held all that energy, memory, and represented all those experiences. This lock journey began as I was grieving the transitions of my father, mother, and sister all within a 5-year period, and I was learning to develop new relationships with them in the spiritual realm. During this lock journey, I realized I had been outsourcing my love and spent time learning to give myself the love I'd been expecting others to give me. I learned that self-love is the best love and the first love. I learned to create and embrace my own standard of beauty, and that there was no need to conform to any particular standard of beauty. I earned my PhD, and at the prompting of spirit, I left my 30-year career in education, took a pay cut to work for a yoga company, and before the ink dried on the contract, I was laid off from that company, an unemployed PhD who had never been without a job. That was terrifying for me, but I developed a trust that was rooted in source and nothing else. I began to understand that titles, money, and success didn't define me or bring peace, but trust did. I took unbelievable leaps of faith, and that led me to start my own business, just so you know. It led me to other cities, states, jobs, housing situations. I was essentially without a home of my own. I got a job at the university, then Spirit had me leave that job, retire, and move across the country. I was led to start my own school. We call it Just So You Know University, and I held on to my locks through all those changes, so letting go of them was hard. They had become part of my new identity as a dissenter. But non-attachment was a major lesson over these 11 years, as was endings are new beginnings. So it was time.
Here we are, this full moon
Here I am.
experience.
Yep. Oh yes, can't forget that part.
Perfect time to let
Perfect
go.
time, release.
Yeah.
What's today, the 23rd?
And
What?
23rd.
Oh, shut your mouth. What? Okay, so what's the number?
Well, I'm born on the 23rd, but what's crazy about the 23rd is that I know so many people. A lot of my close friends, we are all born on the 23rd. My man's born on the 23rd. My best friend and Shamir, the one I was telling you that owns Dr. Locs, Shamir's also the 23rd. And so my best friend Ebony, who I know through Shamir, a lot of our circle of people are 23s. And so we got this tattoo, the three of us got this tattoo together when they came to visit me in Vegas. Ebony, born on December the 10th. Nothing about a 23.
Okay.
She got pregnant the next year, had her son on the 23rd.
What the heck?
It's crazy.
It's
so
a thing.
It's a whole thing. And the number 23 has a lot of like things with it. Like it's that movie. Have you seen that movie 23? It's the Jim Carrey movie. It's kind of like a suspense movie, but he talks about all of these different things around the number 23. And so it's interesting number.
And then the number 2 is like partnerships, community, this and that. Then 3 is the communication, right? And then 5 is change and transformation, right? Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So.
And it's the 23rd.
And it's the 23rd. On a full moon.
On a full moon. Wow. 5/23/2024. During this lock journey, I was awakened to the meaning of numbers and knowing and understanding that God, Source Energy Creator, communicates with me through numbers. 808 was the number I began seeing almost daily for the last 2 years of my 30-year career. 8 being a number of abundance, and that was indicative of the abundance, change, and transformation to come. Then I had a numerology reading and really began to deeply understand what the numbers were showing me. The next number sequence to appear was 919, and I saw it for months. 9 being the ending of cycles, and 1 being new beginnings. And so this pattern, 919, perfectly described what was happening in my life. Cycles of endings and beginnings. Finally, the series of ones and zeros began to show up, and that series has been consistent for about 3 years now. So here's the number 23 or 5 making its statement today. Not a coincidence, and I love this.
You can't even make this kind of stuff up.
Synchronicities and serendipities of life.
Absolutely.
Number 3, the spiritual journey may cause you to feel temporarily disconnected from the world you once felt so connected to. This definitely happened for me. The dark night of the soul was a time when facing my unhealed parts and my shadows was my main focus. As my spiritual eye began to open, I found myself questioning everything I thought I knew, everything I was socialized to accept as truth, all the standards, the rules, the do's, and the don'ts. All the questions that I was told I couldn't ask God when I was a child started to come back. I started practicing meditation, which helped me to learn to pause, be more, and do less until I learned balance. Do less? What? That was the total opposite of what I'd been conditioned to do as I was learning to climb the ladder of success, strive and grind so I could have all the stuff, all the titles, all the positions, and status symbols. And now I was learning to be still, relax in spirit, allow the guidance to come. I called it active surrender. Spirit was the water, and I was lying on my back, fully supported, floating and breathing, gently moving my arms and legs as directed. This is literally my favorite pool behavior. No laps for me, thank you. Just lay back and let it flow. During this portion of the journey, my values began to change and my outward appearance became a secondary concern. I ditched the makeup at one point and natural beauty was priority. The locks were perfect for this phase. Don't get me wrong, I'm not against any of that, but I was just more concerned with what was going on internally. It was time to be transformed by the renewing of my heart, mind, and soul. Dressing up those deep feelings of lack no longer worked for me. It was time for me to return to my authentic self. My beliefs began to shift as I began to experience my Creator in a more loving way. Not the punishing God who was willing to send me to hell if I did this or didn't do that, but the loving God who wanted to guide, provide, and support my soul elevation. All I had to do was be connected, be loved, be in joy. My fears were coming to the surface so I could examine their origins, address and release them in order to live in joy, freedom, liberation, and peace. The limiting mindset was another thing that needed transforming, and this journey has allowed me to work through that, to see myself as part of a boundless energy source. The work of practicing mindfulness helps me to keep the ego in submission to the spirit instead of allowing it to lead. The sense of powerlessness, lack, and victimhood that had often crept into my life was ushered out as I began to see myself as a divine being who was part of a powerful divinity. These new perspectives allow me to return from dissension as a whole, self-defined, authentic, liberated soul and spirit being, ready for the world because I am grounded and centered in another world, one that is love-focused. I am a new creation, and yes, the Locs saw it all, lived it all with me.
Robin, I am so proud of you for choosing yourself today and to choose to let go of what no longer serves you and choosing to allow in all that you are deserving. I'm so happy to have been the person that released you from where you were to the next phase. Love ya.
Our thoughts, words, beliefs, and emotions have power to manifest our realities. Source is listening. So when I moved to Nevada last August, I met Dre as a massage therapist. When she was doing my first massage, she informed me that she wasn't really doing massage therapy anymore because she had now become a licensed realtor. But our friendship grew and she continued to do them for me, her friend. During our most recent session on my birthday in April, I told her I was going to take my locks down. She said she helped another friend take some down and warned that it would take quite a while for me because my locks were so small. Dre would text occasionally and ask how the great takedown was going. Finally, I was able to report that in 3.5 hours, I'd taken down 2 whole locks. She texted me back and said, Robin, by the time you get those locks taken down, you could have cut them off and grew a whole new set. A couple days later, during my meditation, I spoke it. I am ready to release the locks. I don't know how to cut my hair. I need help. This is what happened next. Our words, thoughts, beliefs, and emotions manifest our reality. Source is listening. And let me tell you how Spirit hooked this whole thing up. So last week I was like, I want to do it, but I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, and I don't know where to go. And me cutting them off myself, I can't even imagine cutting them off myself.
And first thing I had in my head, I woke up and it was like, you need to call Robin about her locks. I'm like, huh? Okay. And I was like, if you, I'll do it for you, so.
I was like, what? I gotta watch my words.
I just can't stand it if I get a couple $1 million.
Okay.
So opportunities come through.
Right.
Me to travel internationally.
Right.
And speak my truth.
Yeah.
And the people are experiencing love and light through me.
Right. Yes, all of that. Because I'm telling you, I be saying stuff and it's like people are showing up lately. I'm like, I'm a talker. And I was like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just not going to say anything. I'm just not going to say anything. And that way, if I change my mind when Dre walk in the door, nobody be like, chicken. Nobody but Dre would know the chicken. I was like, I didn't tell nobody.
And then it's like, hey, surprise, surprise,
Because
surprise.
Because, it sets up all of that. I was telling Dre my teeth were bleeding this morning. All that indecisiveness and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you hear all of the...
I know.
And do what with it?
I know.
And do what?
And be gorgeous with it.
Number 5, it's about following the promptings of spirit. Learning to listen and move as directed is important. Some people will say, keep your plans and your business to yourself and don't share. I don't necessarily subscribe to that. I don't believe this is an absolute truth in every situation. In my experience with my source self and source, it's been a matter of consulting, listening, and then following directions. Intuition is where I get my information when I'm operating at my fullest outside of my ego self. If I'd kept this desire to cut my locks totally to myself in this instance, Dre may not have known to listen to her God self that morning and shoot me that text lifeline. She may not have then been available to me and this air quotes mission. Yet at the same time, my intuition will tell me who not to share with if their energy can contribute to confusion or a lack mentality. What I mean by that is I may have shared with someone that I was going to cut my hair, and their response would be, girl, don't cut your hair. Men don't want a woman with no hair. That's that lack mentality. And yes, people actually believe that lie. In an ego-controlled moment, someone comes to you with that type of response, and you might actually get caught up in those social lies that we've been socialized to believe, aka brainwashed. So, you just have to trust and rely on your intuition to tell you when and when not to share. That's my opinion. All the misguided information can cause stress to the mind and emotions, which will eventually affect the body, the physical body and the spirit. It begins so subtly. Before you know it, you've got a whole hate relationship with yourself about your hair, your eyes, your body, your skin, you name it. So this to me goes back to how important it is to develop a meditation and mindfulness practice, so you can learn to discern where, air quotes, the voices in your head are coming from. Are they coming from lies or truth, from fear or love, and what stories they are attached to? With mindfulness as a practice, you learn to be aware of when you're operating out of those stories and those lies and that fear. And you can quickly shift your behaviors and responses. Meditation and mindfulness allow you to develop trust in your God self, your direct connection to source, so you're not misled, so you are intentional in your life. So today is the day. Big chop. Letting go. It will be time to see what's next. Yep, releasing the lock journey. Set 11-year lock journey will be released today. I've been cutting on them for the last few months, and I've been thinking about cutting them off for a few years now. So it just makes sense that 11 would be the year I finally did it. That the ones and the zeros have been showing up for me for years now. The one, the new beginning. Oh gosh. So here we go. And I just got a box, from Amazon, some fruit sticky traps for those pesky fungus gnats. And I was taking the box outside to the recycle can. And as I walked back around the backyard, guess what I saw? I'm going to show you. I don't believe this. Number 6. Synchronicities and serendipities don't seem so coincidental when we are spiritually focused and connected. Because I truly believe the universe speaks to me in many ways, including through nature and animals. I was really excited when I saw this caterpillar, but I wasn't prepared for the up-close version of this sighting.
Synchronicities.
So many. The little caterpillar outside today.
That was being attacked, but you saved
By a
it.
spider, I saved it.
Girl, at the front door or what?
Out here in the back, I was taking a box out and to the trash can, and I was like, and I come back from the trash can, and I'm like, what is that? Big, thick green spider. The caterpillar, right? And I was like, oh, look at you, you're so pretty. Oh, let me get it, started my camera and everything. And then I looked closer, and I was like, oh, shoot! It had a tiny little spider on it, about 1/20th or 1/32nd the size of the caterpillar, and it was just on his face, and it was just like, and the caterpillar was like, and I was like, no! So I took a rock and flicked the spider off, and then I picked up this caterpillar, and I was like, oh, you came to give me a message of transformation, and the spider got you. Oh my God, thank you. I'm so sorry. And then I was like, it was like kind of, stiffened and stuff, like it was moving real slow, and I was like, oh man, I hope you have what you need inside your body to heal yourself. And if not, I'm going to take you to a beautiful resting place. Because you came for me. You came to tell me that this is the day for transformation. And I moved it out to the yellow bush, put it out under the yellow bush. I was like, I hope you can heal yourself. But if not, here's a beautiful, beautiful resting place. And I was like, well, spider, I wanted to kill it, but I didn't, because it's just doing what it does. But it was like, even if it did die, it's like death is rebirth. Death is a new life. Death is the end, and at the end there's a new beginning. And I was just like, the message was just so powerful. I was just like, what? Like, what? I have never seen a caterpillar here.
Out here.
I have never seen a caterpillar here. I was like, what the heck? Big green one. So soft. It was just so soft. You know what I'm saying? The little skin of it was so soft. It's right here. Oh no, it's a spider eating them. Oh, the spider's stinging him. Oh no. Oh, here he is. This is where I put him. He's still struggling. He's still wiggling around. But like I said, even if he does transition, he's in a beautiful, cool space underneath my beautiful bush here. Oh, Dick. I'm sorry. Life cycles. So, I thought that was just the most amazing find. You know, the whole butterfly, caterpillar transformation story on the day that I'm taking my locks down from my 11-year lock journey. And it's still a beautiful message. He came to see me and give me a message on the final day of my lock journey. Caterpillar, the transformation specialist, came to visit me to let me know it's all good. Change is good. So, there we have it. Change is good, but also, change is like death, as is what that caterpillar probably met up with the little bitty spider, that little spider. It's the little things, y'all. It can be the little things. It can be the little things that can stress us and stress us and stress us and stress us and keep stinging and stinging and stinging and stinging. Gotta let that go, shake it off. Now, it's amazing as a caterpillar's transformation is to a butterfly. You know, that whole apoptosis situation where it literally liquefies inside the chrysalis and cells reform into a whole new creature. That is so fascinating to me, and I just hope that with that capability that there's something in that caterpillar's body that will help it to heal from the sting of that little gray spider. So now I will need to look up both of them, not just the caterpillar. Pretty sure what the caterpillar's message is transformation. That spider, he brought the death, which is an ending. Death is not always death, like no life. Death can sometimes mean new life, and it always means new life, because even when our spirit leaves this physical body, it has a new life in another realm. You know, so death always equals new life. Even though we're not taught to see it that way. Wow, 7 messages revisited as I prepared to bring this 11-year lock journey to a close. And oh my God, what an amazing journey it has been. So many experiences, and I appreciate each and every one of them because they made me who I am. Thank you for joining me. Love you. Peace. And that's a wrap. And y'all know how I do it. Roll those credits.